Chris, what is our fifth main topic today?
This comes from Shelby Waters. Hello, my favorite crew. Matt Reeves decided to drop a deleted scene from The Batman featuring Barry Keoghan as the Joker. At first, I wasn't sure about having a Joker in this universe, but after seeing that deleted scene, I feel completely different. Keoghan's portrayal is terrifying, sinister, and visually unsettling. What'd y'all think? Have a great day and bring on the filthy.
All right. So, yesterday during the John Campea Show, our message board started to blow up. There's a deleted scene of the Joker. Oh my God! You gotta go watch it. And everybody
Tell John, Ray. Tell John.
Tell John, Ray. Tell John. Like everybody was like freaking the hell out that there was a deleted scene. To which I said, "Okay, yeah, I know this just happened, but we're not going to stop our show to go watch a scene that the director didn't even want in the movie."
And it wasn't like a minute or 90 seconds either.
No, it was like a 5-minute scene.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not going to do that during the middle of the show. Like, it's a deleted scene. Like, whatever. I'll watch it later. So, indeed, I did go and I watched it later. And for those of you who don't know anything about the scene or you're not familiar with it, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure everybody probably has by now. It's a pretty cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman basically goes, he's being stumped by the Riddler. And he decides to go and visit somebody they do not name, but we know is the Joker in prison to get his point of view. Kind of like Clarice going to Dr. Lecter to get, the point of view of a psychopath. What do you think about this? To which the Joker looks at the file for 3 seconds and instantly pieces the whole thing together in 3 seconds. And then there's some exchanges, dialogue back and forth and whatnot. And the Batman goes. The question is, should they have left that scene in the movie? Should they have left it in the movie? And I've seen a lot of discussion online about it. I got a couple of thoughts. Let me give you why I don't think they should have left it in the movie, why I do think you could argue they should have left it in, and then another argument why they should have taken it out. Let me start with the negative stuff first. I think it's good that they took this scene out for a couple of reasons. One is the scene implies the Batman was incompetent. The scene kind of implies that the Batman, who can't make heads or tails of this entire mystery he has, now granted he's only in year 2 of being Batman, but he's so stumped by it that he literally takes us to the Joker, who literally looks at it for about 3 to 5 seconds and has already pieced the whole thing together, making Batman look like an idiot. And I've not heard Matt Reeves talk about his rationale and reasoning in his own head for taking that scene of his out, but it seems to me that would have been counterintuitive to try to really the building up of Batman, the detective, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I can't figure any of this out. Why? I just looked at page 1 of this 85-page file, and I've already figured the whole damn thing out. So that was one. It kind of diminished Batman, I thought the scene did. The other thing was, if Batman had come into the room and then said to him, "Did you look at it?" Like implying that he had left the file with him for a day or 2 days or 3 days. And then he said everything he said. That would make more sense. But instead, literally, Joker opens up, looks at a page or two, and he figures everything out because everything the Joker says is completely correct.
Right.
He's nailed what Dano's doing. He's nailed how it's impacting Batman, although he's probably been obsessed with Batman up until this point. But still. So for those reasons, I actually think it served the movie better to take the scene out. That said, the tension, the atmosphere, the performance, this was a fun scene to watch. This, like for me, despite everything else I just said and all that being true, this was a fun scene to watch. And again, what do I always say about the Jokers? That you face, whenever you try to do a new iteration of Joker, you face a very distinct challenge. To A, make it very much encoded in the DNA Joker, but B, make it completely like any other Joker that we've had. That's a challenge that just gets harder and harder and harder as you go. This was a very different Joker than we've ever had, but was so clearly Joker. And so that was really cool. seeing, Druig in there doing his thing as Joker, I mean, I thought it was great. I also love the creative choice to always have him out of focus. Like, that was a really neat creative choice. And so I quite like the scene a lot. But now let's come down to the basic decision of this. Should they have left this in the movie? I think they needed to do one of two things, and there was a third option that they absolutely should not have done. And they did the third option. You guys know that I love the Batman movie. Love it. The worst part of the movie was that scene at the end. I honestly thought the worst part of the Batman movie was the scene with Paul Dano and Joker in that thing. It came out of nowhere. It was disjointed. It felt weird and silly and whatever. And I honestly thought worst part of the movie. Not that I don't think he'll make a good Joker at some point, but it did not fit in the flow of the movie. I think they needed to do one of two things. They needed to, A, not have either of those Joker scenes in the movie. Like, they already cut out the main one. They should have cut out that one at the end too. He shouldn't have been there at all. Or B, have both of them in there. Because guess what? If that 5-minute deleted scene had been in the film earlier, it would have made that last scene better. Because it wouldn't have felt out of nowhere. It wouldn't have felt like random. We would have now heard him talking to Daniel with some background on this guy. We already have met this guy, and I think it would have made that last scene better. So you either take both of them out or you leave both of them in. Instead, they took the only wrong option, which is take out the one and leave in the other. And I thought it didn't ruin the movie. The movie's awesome. Like, it's incredible. But I think those are the three options. So yeah, I think maybe you could have left it in with it, or they could have taken them both out. That's where I'm at. Rob, you had a chance to take a look at this 5-minute scene. A lot of good things about it. Should they have left it in? What are your thoughts?
The thing that struck me when I first watched this is Joker had already been defeated. He was already in jail.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was in jail because he had an extended plan. I got the impression that Batman already put him away. Or something happened, and yet there was a mutual respect there. Here's why I'm going to you. It's like if you watch, I mean, obviously the Hannibal Lecter, the memory of Hannibal Lecter loomed large over this scene, and there are two different versions of Hannibal Lecter I couldn't stop thinking about. One is Brian Cox's version from Hannibal. I mean, from a Manhunter. The first time we see Hannibal Lecter, and Will Graham goes there and brings a file to Hannibal Lecter and gives it to him. Please take a look at this file. I want to know if you have any insight into the Tooth Fairy. I mean, it's literally almost the same scene. And then, of course, in Silence of the Lambs, Jodie Foster also goes to see Hannibal Lecter. In both scenes, Hannibal Lecter has already been captured, apprehended. I didn't like the fact that Joker was already apprehended. If you're going to introduce Joker, I want to see him begin his rampage. Or it rubbed me the wrong way, John, that he was in jail, but the Riddler wasn't. I was like, come on, this guy's clearly a better.
Well, the Riddler hadn't committed any crimes yet.
No, I know, but it was just like the guy. How is Joker put away? And Batman needs Joker's help, but he can't get this incel chump that's on the internet with 500 people causing mayhem. I'm like, come on, but that's more of a philosophical difference. But on the other hand, I thought it really stopped the movie cold, because if you're watching the scene, you're like, now, wait a minute. This is the movie I really want to see. I really want to see the movie between Batman and Joker. I suddenly was far more interested in their dynamic, because Batman doesn't interact with the Riddler in the whole movie the way he's interacting with Joker in this scene. And I'm like, I want to see more of this. And so I think they were smart to get rid of it. But like you, I would have gotten rid of that post tag as well, because especially now that you've seen this scene, it would have been interesting to see, I don't know, more Joker in the movie, but I think they should have taken this out. Absolutely.
Chris, you had a chance to see this scene. Number one, what did you think about the scene in and of itself? And then, having watched it, do you think it should have been left in the movie? Do you think they're one of those three options? I don't know. How would you approach this?
I don't think the Joker should have been in this movie at all. I don't think he should have shown up in any way, shape, or form. I do think this is a much better scene than the one that's in the film. I like that we have that like slow focus then on his mouth, and like we see him in the film, right? But that was still shocking. Just once it finally came into focus and we saw how gnarly he looked.
His face is gnarly. I like that a lot.
It's wicked gnarly. It's a wild look. I love it. And it's got that kind of more realistic acid burn feel to it too that feels right to me. I like the idea of a young Batman in over his head, right? Just trying to come talk to somebody else, trying to figure it all out. But I don't think this should have been in the film, and I think Matt was right to keep it out of the film.
What do you think about my observation? Like, I wonder if you guys disagree with that. Like, my observation was the scene actually diminished Batman. Like, the fact that I couldn't make hide nor hair of this, but in 3 seconds, Joker could figure it all out. Like, do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. I think you're up. I was going to say that before I forgot. That was an absolutely astute observation because, I mean, again, it puts Batman, he's getting kind of jobbed, as you would put it, by the Joker. And even while the Joker's in prison, I didn't like the fact that Batman is in... Like Batman is not diminished. He's learning. He's like a rookie athlete that has a great first season. I mean, that's what the Batman is, and I didn't like that. I think you're absolutely right that he is diminished by that scene.
I didn't feel that way, but I think that's because I was mostly focusing on him kind of poking and prodding at the Bat.
Right.
You know this. This says so much more about you and that kind of mental like gymnastics that he wanted to start engaging in. That was my big takeaway.
My favorite part of that scene, to your point, was at the end as Batman's walking out, he goes, "You think he's right. You think they had it coming." Like, and which is kind of something, it alludes a little bit to that conversation between Batman and Gordon. When Gordon even kind of brought that up, it's like, are you saying they deserved this? You know, that was kind of interesting too.
Best part of I thought that was the best part of the whole thing, because that brings up a really, I mean, I thought that they should have leaned into that more in the film, is that Batman feels a kinship because they're both looking for justice. But it was
Riddler who felt the kinship.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of methodology, and it would have been the first time we heard it would have been from the Joker. You think he's right, and then there could have been. That's really interesting. I mean, those levels of what is justice as opposed to vengeance, and that was Batman's transformation. And if that Joker scene had come halfway through the movie, Batman could have said something. He's wrong. I didn't think the Riddler wasn't right.
Right.
You know, and that was part of what he learns by the end of the film. So
I haven't had a chance to ask Ray. I'm going to guess you had a chance to watch this scene. What did you think about the scene?
This Joker is terrifying. Like,
it does come across as terrifying.
The shots of the scars on back of his head, I was like, that's really cool. The blurring, the focus thing, I didn't like it as much. I kind of just wanted a clear shot of him, but I get why they did it. I don't see him, Batman being diminished either. I agree with Chris. That didn't come off like that for me. I actually like that he actually goes to the Joker for advice, because it just shows how, you know, how he got stumped on this one, and he needed his opinion. I don't know. I like the scene. I think they should have kept it in it.
Well, guys, the question is for you. What did you think about that 5-minute deleted scene with the Joker? And do you think ultimately it was the right creative decision to take it out of the film? Or do you think it should have stayed in the film? Maybe they should have kept that and taken out the one at the end, kept them both in, take them both out. Whatever you guys are thinking about it, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank a sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. So guys, look, my wife Ann and I were both working professionals, so we know how tricky, difficult, and time-consuming it can be to try to eat properly and prepare your own meals at home. And that's why, like over a year ago, we started using HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. I mean, you skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and probably most importantly, affordable. HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need to easily customize your orders online or right in the app. Easily change your delivery day, food preferences, and plan size, or skip a week whenever you need to. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal of the exact same quality, and you can save on average over $65 a month when you order HelloFresh instead of going grocery shopping. So guys, I'm telling you, whether you are single or have a family, you are going to love HelloFresh. So go to HelloFresh.com/TTT Campea16 and use the promo code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's again, HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use that promo code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.